I just thought I'd talk today a little bit about feeling like you've lost it. You've had a glimpse and you've lost it. What I want to say is you can't lose it. It just feels like you've lost it. And that glimpse and that moment of recognition of your true self is just that, your true self. It's as if the idea of the separate person, the individual, the mind-made self slips and your true self is revealed. So can you see how you haven't lost it? It feels as if you get pulled out into the world of separation, to those tickets to suffer. But actually, you never lose this. This comes with you. This is always with you. It's the ground of being. There's no escaping this. It just feels like we do. So this goes into the world of separation. This plays the game of separation. You never lose it. And I felt exactly like that. I felt like I left this, had a glimpse of this. That expanded state. Oh, wow, I can feel it. Well, listen to somebody. I get a glimpse of my true nature. I can rest as my true nature. I drop down out of my head and I open up and I feel like I am this open sea of awareness. And then it would feel as if I'd closed down and lost it. I was lost in the person, in the separate idea of a person with a life, with stuff to do, with the push and pull of what comes with that idea of separation. But actually it's always your true self that is playing that game of separation. I didn't realise that, so I just wanted to point it out because I have quite a few people. I had somebody this morning who was very much resting as who they are because that's all you can be, but was very much seated in who they were. It was just they were in the mode of operating from the head and was just needed a few pointers to able to be seated and abide as their true self, their impersonal awareness prior to the idea of picking up the character. The idea is really important because it's an idea that we go out. It's the idea that there's this mind-made self. You never leave this. This goes and plays the game of separation. This is the one playing the game of waking up. There is nothing else than this. This is just playing the game of separation. So, rest assured you are already awake. You just feel like you're not. And it's just this idea of separation, the tickets to suffer. It's just a mode of being that we're used to, that feels more normal than this because we've been operating in that mode. It's as if there's two ways of operating. There isn't really, because it's always this playing that role. But how do we get to this? How do we get to this that we never leave? How do we not feel like we leave it? It's to open up and to drop out. To have that open focus, the wider view, like a bird's eye view on life. You know, when somebody says, oh, you can't see the wood for the trees because everything's sort of here. And that's when we're in the mind, we're narrow focused, closed down. So that open focus. And that's when we can see the tickets of separation. That's when we've got that little bit of distance. We've dropped down into the body. It's embodiment, embodying who you are. It feels as if we leap out to this separate self. But it's this, the self, that is playing that role. Because you can't be anything other than this. There is only just this. And it just is, plays the game of separation or plays the game of, I've woken up. That's all the game. But this is always here. So it's always this, playing all of those roles, playing all the roles out there, if there is an out there, you know? The imagined self that feels very real. I'm not saying you don't experience it, you do. But it isn't as solid as we think. Because from here, this open self, this open view, bird's eye view, not constricted down, believing in a separate self, this view can see clearly. This view, when questioned, you know, you can bring the questions of the separate self with you here and look at them. And you realise, who is this one that's got the busy mind that has lost it? And from here, you can't find that separate self that's lost it. Because this is who you are. And the separate self is imagined. It's an idea. It's fine. You can play that game. But it's best to play it fully awake. Well, that's what we're all searching for, because you feel complete and whole. So you play the game complete and whole. Or you can play the game with the tickets of separation. With the, I'm not quite there yet. I've lost it. I've seen it. I've experienced it, but I can't get back there. They just are all ideas of separation. And it's just because it's our habit to think that way. So to open up and inquire about those tickets is the best thing to do, because you see the truth. You experience the truth. It's not just a thought about the truth, what could be true. It's your direct experience when you open up and you drop down. I've got lots of videos on that. I can do more if you like. When you get to this, you know, I've got pointings to the self. When you get to this self, you don't get to the self. You see how it's just, the language isn't right. When you realise who you are, you can ask the questions of that separate self and see that they're just ideas that the separate self has about itself, because it feels separate. It's completely understandable why it feel that way. But inquire, who is this separate self? Who is the sufferer? Who is the one that feels like they've lost it? When you inquire from here, you can't find them. And it's your direct experience in the moment. It's the most rock solid thing you've got, because it's not a thought. You know, a thought appears and goes. This is always here. So this is the best place to look from. You know, and I can do videos on asking from here. They don't seem very popular when I did a poll who wants to do a self-inquiry. But actually, it's the most freeing thing. So if you want me to do a self-inquiry from here video, which is usually what I do in my one-to-ones with people, take them to the place. Don't take them to, see. Show them who they are and get them to inquire from the truth, the direct experience in the moment, without the head filling in the answers. So, yeah, I can do that if you like. Thanks for watching.